all ye that are burdened and heavy laden, I will give you rest.
Yes.
Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for my yoke is easy.
My yoke is easy.
My burden
It's light. Thank you,
is
Lord.
light.
Thank you.
I think so very often of what it looked like for Jesus, the Son of God, for Jesus, the Word made flesh. I think very often of what it looked like for him to be here in a room and for people to talk to him. I think very often about that. I think very often of when Jesus sat down and multitudes sat down, how they engaged, what he said and how they received him. I think very often of Jesus taking a walk and people wanting to walk with him and follow him wherever he was going. I think very often of that. I think very often of Jesus being in somebody's house and he's just talking and people are just spooning it up and eating it up. And what the order of that service looked like. Do you think that when Jesus spoke, that before he spoke he had praise and worship? Do you think that before, when he sat everybody down on the side of a mountain, he says, okay, choir, give me an A and a B. And immediately following the choir, the next voice that you will hear people practice religion. But belief isn't a practice. It's a thing that we do.
Absolutely.
Now, you might say practice in the sense that the more we do it, the better we get at it. Because practice
Makes better. Makes better.
makes better. So I encourage everybody to get really good at what you believe.
Yes.
Not saying it, not coming up with a speech, not, your 5-minute elevator, do you believe in Jesus? I believe in Jesus. Not coming up with something to say, but coming up with a life and a lifestyle that when people see it, it is apparent to the casual observer what and who you follow.
Amen.
Not because you're, this is the day that the Lord. Anybody can sing a song. Anybody can sing a song. But not everybody can live a life that is reflective of the light of the world. And if you possess that light, should not that light be seen? Should not you let that light so shine that people see it?
Yeah.
You don't have to tell them about it. You don't have to tell them where you go to church. You don't have to tell them, do they go to church? What they do when they see that light. Do you know what people in darkness do with light?
See.
They see. Guess what happened when the light moved? They move with it. You know why?
Because they want to see.
Because they want to see what else?
Because they don't like being in the dark.
Nobody likes being in the dark. Nobody likes being in the dark.
That's good. Jesus. Oh my gosh.
Ecclesiastes 9.
You said
I'm going to get to it in a second. I'm going to start with mine. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your testimonies.
Jesus.
Ecclesiastes chapter number 9, are you there?
Yeah.
I want you to see this one. The other ones I really want you to hear. I want you to see this one. Okay? I want you to see the other ones, but I want you to hear those more than see them. I want you to see this one. I want you to see it with your eyes. I want you to see it with your heart. I want you to see it with your soul. It's one thing to know what the Word of God says. It's another one to see it. You know how somebody's talking to you? Say, Rachel, you see what I'm saying? Are they really asking you to
Right.
like follow the bouncing ball with the subtitle? That's not what they're asking you. They're really asking you, do you understand?
Yes. Thank you.
Like, do you see what I'm saying? Do you understand? They really mean, that's what they really mean. That's not what they say. What they really mean is, are you understanding the words
That I'm
that
coming
are coming out of my mouth? That's what they're actually saying. You see what I'm saying? I'm quick. I'm just quick today. Read this with me, would you?
Yes.
Chapter number 9, verse number 11. Are you there?
Yes.
Let's read it. I
Returned has returned.
I returned.
And so
I returned and saw under the sun, read, that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill, but time and chance happeneth to them all. But time and chance happeneth to them all. But time
And change.
and chance happeneth to them all. Now last week we talked a little bit about time. Today I want to talk a little bit about chance. I'm going to talk about time just a little bit, but I'm talking about time today in the functionality of chance. And chance, I'm going to break chance down into 3 C's. It's 3 C's. Okay? Huh? Cameron, Caleb, and Christian. I love that. I wasn't thinking that. That's quick. Thank
I
you.
missed it. I'm sorry.
You said Cameron, Caleb, and
His
Christian?
name is Caleb Michael. Let me stand above those two.
Caleb Michael. Cameron, Caleb, Michael. Before I get too far, Caleb Michael just had a birthday.
Happy birthday.
Turn 17.
He is no longer 16.
Oh my God.
You happy, Shay?
Shady's happy about it.
Yeah, she's excited.
Thinks about her.
I don't know that a father can be more proud than I am of my children. And when I say proud, I don't have perfect children. They don't have a perfect father. But when I look at my children, I was looking at those pictures. Tears well up in my eyes. I get joy. Just to looking at their faces. And to see the young man that he's becoming,
Yes.
I'm very, very proud. Caleb Michael, I'm very, very proud.
Okay.
That's my boy. Let's give him a big hand clap. Amen. The race isn't to the swift, the battle's not to the strong, bread's not to the wise, riches not to men of understanding, favors not to men of skill, but time and chance, time and chance. And under the word chance, I want you to hear these 3 C's. Chance is all about choice. It's what you choose. It's all about change. And choice and change gives you a chance. If you don't choose, you won't have a chance.
Right.
If you don't change, you won't have a chance. You need both choice and change
To have a chance.
to have a chance. Let me
That's good.
illuminate and go a little bit further. Can I go deeper? Okay. Now, if we're going to talk about change, if we're going to talk about choosing, let's get we talked about time last week, but just for review, let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 3. It's just a little bit of review. I didn't go here last week, but for the purpose of review, I want to bring your mind into the scope of change, so that change is in the room. Time is in the room. Because time and chance is going to make a difference for us. It's going to make a difference for you. It's going to make a difference in your week, your day. When stuff comes up, it's going to make a difference if you can remember the combination of things. I'm going to give you a combination. When you know the combination, you can't be locked up. Did you hear me?
Yes.
When you have the key, no one can suspend you.
Yes.
No one can detain. You cannot be detained when you have the combination. When you have the key in your possession, you can forget you got the key. You can be locked up as long as you want to be locked up. But if somebody tries to lock you up, you won't be locked up for long. You won't be detained for long. You won't be stuck. Because you got the key, because you have the combination. All right?
Yeah, I was trying to get her to write down the note of change.
Okay. All right, I hope you got pencil, paper, digital, something, some way for you to copy some of these down. Because when the Holy Ghost gives things to me, next week it's gone. I'm on to something else. Okay, I really am. That's why I tell you, prophetically, I'm not a preacher. I'm not, and the Lord said, and it's real good. I can do that. I can sound like that, but that's not who I am. That's not who God called me to be. So I won't remember a sermon because I didn't come up with it. What God gives me is a word.
Thank you, Lord.
And it's my job to translate what God gives me into something that's usable to you. Now, sometimes I do a good job of that. Sometimes I don't, because I'm limited. I'm distracted. I'm a lot of things. But nothing I ever say and or preach comes from me. Nothing. No, you hear me say, you heard Debbie Doc? The mouse ran up the clock? I came up with that, because it rhymes. I'm not Dr. Seuss.
Mother Goose.
And fire. Ecclesiastes chapter 3.
Yes.
Work with me. The first verse.
Yes.
It says, to everything. To every. Did you hear it? What does that?
To everything.
To everything. Not just everybody. To everything.
That's good.
Okay? This thing is so generally true that it's not even for people. This truth is true of things. That's how true it is. This is so deep, it does not apply just to you or me. It applies to Chloe and the tree that she chooses to urinate on. To everything. I'm not trying to be brutish. I'm trying to let you know there's some stuff out there that are subject to God's truth.
Amen.
And if a tree and a rock and some grass is subject to God's truth, what about me?
Amen.
What about you? What about us? Some things are so generally true, we need to see how true they are. To everything there is a season.
Yes.
That means a tree has a season.
Yeah.
And another tree has a season that's different than this tree. Because this tree isn't going to grow the same as that tree, because that season isn't the same as this season for this tree. To everything, there is a season. You know how many seasons are out there?
Yes.
That are not simultaneous, but are overlappingly. One tree is in the middle of its season. Another tree is at the end of its season.
Yes.
Another tree is just getting started with its season. You ever talk to an evergreen? Okay.
I love it.
I wouldn't tell this to very many people. Y'all know me, right?
You do.
I talk to trees.
I love this.
Leave me alone.
I absolutely love it.
I'm not crazy. Something happened to me one day.
I love it.
And I thought I was talking, in my head, and I got an answer, and I looked around and I thought it was God. It was not God, it was a tree. I know, it sounds crazy. Just go with me here. I ended up having a rather simple but deep conversation with a tree. And from that time, I realized that not only could trees talk, but nature could talk.
That's right.
And the only reason why we don't all talk to nature, because nature is constantly speaking. But we're hardly ever listening. It made me go back to the book of Genesis. And I looked at Adam in the book of Genesis. And Adam talked to lions. Because every lion came before him, he conversed with them and named the lion. And then the lion moved on. And then the water buffalo came along. And Adam spoke. Now he didn't just talk to the animals. He talked to everything under the sun and gave everything a name. Now it's cool, it's fantastic, it's fictional almost to think that Adam could talk to animals. But Adam didn't stop at animals. Adam spoke to everything, and everything spoke to Adam. Because everything was under Adam's dominion. So in order for it to go the way that Adam wanted to go, he had to speak to it.
Love it.
You don't like me?
I do.
Let me show you what God meant when he gave Adam his ability. There was a man on a boat, and the people on the boat were scared. Ask me why they were scared.
Why were they?
Because it was a storm. It was a really, really bad storm. They were going to die. It was a storm. They're throwing stuff over, and people that had been through storms before, they say, we ain't never been through nothing like this. We going to die. And they started waking people up. And the guy woke up, he said, listen, don't you care that we're dying here? I mean, if we're going to die, we all die together. You said they're asleep. How are you going to sleep? Don't you care that we perish? And the guy came up from the bottom of the boat where he was sleeping well, undisturbed. Okay? His composure. He was composed. He went up to the top of the boat, looked at the wind, and said, peace. Cut out all of that. Be still. You know what the wind did?
Obeyed.
Obeyed. You know what the rain did? It obeyed. And turned around and walked back down. And they said, what kind of dude is that?
Yeah.
He just said, he spoke. We don't speak to, we don't talk to problems. We don't talk to insurmountable issues. We try to deal with them.
Yeah.
But we don't think that we've been given any kind of power or any kind of authority
Jesus.
when we have from the beginning.
Thank you, Lord.
I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you a question nobody ever asked you.
Jesus.
You ready? When did Adam get saved?
You actually want me to answer?
Oh, that was a real question, one rhetorical.
Salvation was an idea that came later.
Salvation was an idea that came later. Sort of. Sort of. But the need for salvation came later.
So he was born saved.
Huh? Huh?
He was born saved.
Huh?
That's my answer.
Well, he wasn't born saved, because saved is something that came later. See, in order to be saved, you have to be saved from something.
Right.
And in the garden, there was nothing to be saved. Come on. This is deep and theological. I'm really sharing some stuff with y'all. You know, come on.
I was going to try to answer your question.
Yeah.
But I can't. When Jesus descended into the depths of hell, and he preached to them folks that was
See now?
Yeah.
See?
and they had an opportunity. to get saved.
See, not theologically, you coming at me with something. But in the garden, Adam didn't need salvation. Because what Adam had
His relationship.
was relationship. And by virtue of that connection, that relationship, Adam didn't pray to anybody. Adam just
Oh, walked in the cool.
listen. Do you know what it's like to just walk and talk with God?
Thank you, Lord.
I mean, we pray when we're scared. We pray when we're overwhelmed. We pray when we're in trouble. We pray when we don't know what to do. But prior to prayer and the invention thereof, there was just conversation.
Thank you, Lord.
You just had a chat with somebody that you knew,
Yes.
somebody that you were close to.
Yes, yes.
You didn't bring up any subjects. You all were just talking about
Conversing, yes.
things. And the confidence.
Yes,
The confidence.
Thank you, Lord.
I shared this with somebody the other day. Last Friday, we had power outage. DTE Energy had an issue. Power went down. Went out for like 3 hours. It came back up. When it came back up, I didn't notice it until the following day. My refrigerator was dead. It wasn't dead because you opened up, the light came on. It was getting power. It's just wasn't getting cold. So stuff in my refrigerator, stuff in my freezer, it just wasn't working. So I said, that's weird. I don't know what's going on with it because it's a light inside, and I looked on the internet, and it said this, that, and other. I tried to reset it, none of that worked. So I called a repair guy to come out. He said for $69, I'll come out and tell you what's wrong with your refrigerator. I called a few other people, they were like 150, this, that, and that, and it'll come off to work. And so I'm like, okay, well, I can put $70 on there. I put $70 on it. He came by, looked at it, and said, in 5 minutes, he said, your computer board's dead. I said, computer board? He says, yeah, all of these things, they run off the electronics and it's dead. The board needs to be replaced. So as he was talking, I went on the internet, blah, 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 blah. I looked for a board, found a board, board was about $200. I said, well, how much will you charge me to put one in? He said, well, how much you do?
$469.
Yeah. $469. I said, it's a $200 part.
$669.
So you gonna charge me how much? He said, well, that's just the rate. For brand new equipment, no, just for the board. I said, yeah, that's okay.
I'll take what you said.
That's all right, because I can order it for $200 myself, on Amazon, and wait for it to come in. And I said, you know what? Rather than ordering it on Amazon or whatever, I know somebody who has a shop that does this. So I went to my friend, he's not too far. I said, listen, the power outage and so what happened? He was like, well, I got those boards in the back. Which one you need? I said, well, I got the serial number, and looked up the serial number. He says, okay, I got that one, here you go. I brought it here, and the serial number didn't match the board. The board that he gave me, it had too many plugs, and so I took it back to him. I said, well, mine looks like this. I took a picture of it. He says, oh, I got that one too. Gave it to him, came in, went over. Now, I'm not an electronic genius. I'm not.
Yes, you.
But I can unplug this plug and plug it into this board.
Yes.
And that plug goes here. Right? I can make the new one look like the old one. Now, it's right here, side by side comparison. And if you just gave it to me and told me to plug it in, I'd be like, I wonder where this plug goes. Well, I know where that plug goes. That plug goes. So I changed it over and I put the plug in and I put the board in and then, put the grounds in and put the pegs in, and there was another little thing that I had to ease it out, so the board wasn't breaking. I had to put it ease it in. Got it all, put it in, plugged it in. That compressor kicked right in.
Right.
I said, well, what do you know about that? Didn't cost me $479. It could have, if I didn't have a relationship. Didn't cost me $200 for the power. Because listen, I'm saying to you, you have access to the Lord.
Thank you, Lord.
I said Lord. See, you have access to the King. I said King. Oh, hold on. You have access to the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. And not just access. He cares to be in your presence. He doesn't just allow you to be. Now everybody can't come to his presence. See? You got to be a son or a daughter to be in his presence. He not only allows you in his, but he wants to be in yours.
Thank you, Lord.
And if you give that kind of connection and consideration to who he is,
Yes.
life will cost you a whole lot less. Because I could have went my way,
Yes.
but I would have had to go out of my way. Are you listening?
Yes.
To go find a repairman to come in and do for my refrigerator like I want it done, it would have cost me a whole lot more than somebody I have a relationship with.
Thank you, Lord.
Come on, give the Lord a big hand clap.
Thank you. Amen.
A people err.
That's right.
They go wrong. We go wrong for not doing what we know. Not doing what, it ain't like we don't know how to pray. We know how to pray. But if we just pray, it will be this much better. But if we just talk to the Lord prior to prayer, when we pray, we need something. When we pray, we say stuff like, right now.
Amen.
So leave me alone. I'm trying to talk to everybody. When we pray, we say stuff, if you get me out of this here, right now. Right?
Yes.
Because we're always going through something. It seems like since we get out of something, we all like, yeah, I'm out. They draw us back in. We back into something or something. I mean, something else, and like, oh, look what I just. If we just talk to the Lord, if we just follow his lead, if we just keep our eyes stayed on him, we won't step in a whole lot of stuff that we be stepping in. Okay, can I say it like that? Can I just talk to me after church if you need some more exegesis on that? I need some more explanation. There's a time and a season for things, right?
Amen.
To everything there is a season and a time, to every purpose under the sun.
To every purpose under the sun, there's a time. There's a time for a purpose. I don't have time. Today. If you recognize time and you appreciate time, you know what time is. Guess what time is going to do?
Provide you with a chance.
Huh?
Oh, I said it's going to provide you with a chance.
Not yet. Time
Continue to move.
is going to tick. And people that don't realize that time has a tick, you'll end up with a tick. Because you don't have the time.
This is why we need to redeem.
I mean, time, if you don't recognize it and respect it and value it, because time goes by,
That's right.
it doesn't wait for any man or woman or boy, girl, or anything, or a tree or a dog, or time doesn't wait. Time keeps going. Right?
Yes.
Time isn't on your side. It's not on any side. Time has a job to do.
That's right.
God spoke to time, and from the time that God spoke, time has been going ever since. Time realizes that it has an end.
Yeah.
So what time has to do is it's got to keep on moving until it comes to an end, because time realizes I won't always be here.
Jesus.
Now some of us foolish folk act like we don't have time forever. Some of us foolish folk say, if I can't get it done today, I'll do it tomorrow. But tomorrow is for tomorrow's stuff. Today is for today's stuff, and you trying to do last week's stuff today.
Jesus.
Worried about tomorrow not having enough hours in the day.
Jesus.
It ain't time that's wrong. It's you. It's you. Because you don't understand the nature of time, the purpose of time. Time has a purpose and a season.
Yeah.
There will come a time when time has no more season and no more purpose, because time will be over.
Jesus.
Now they've been telling us, and they've been telling us, and they've been telling, baby, time is winding up. Time is winding up. Time is winding up. When you gonna believe them? When are we gonna quit acting like, oh, I got time? How much time you got? You don't have any more time than I have.
That's right.
And I have exactly the same amount of time as a millionaire. And the millionaire has exactly the same amount of time as a billionaire.
Jesus, Jesus, Jesus.
Everybody under the sun has the same amount of time. My question, if you value time, what will you do with your time? You can't borrow none. Nobody can loan you any time. All that you can do is redeem time. How do you redeem time? By acting like time has value.
That's right. Thank you, Lord. Yes.
Well, I'm going to get to it.
Okay.
Just give me a few minutes. Give you? Where am I going to get a few minutes from? I don't have extra time. I don't have loose time. I don't have spare time. All I got, remember we were talking about these words about earlier about change?
Yes.
You have to understand, change is not a function of time. Change obeys time. Time is the Lord of change. Things change because of time.
Yes.
Can I preach? How much time I got? If you do nothing, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, just a little bit. I'm jumping ahead. If you do nothing, Cheryl, as you sit, time is changing, and change is changing. If you never did anything, time is going to be different. And change is going to be different. You will not look like you look right now in 5 years. If you do nothing, if all you do is sit there, you're not going to stay the same. You will inevitably change, because change is a function of time.
That's good. Wow.
I wish things were different.
Yes.
I'm wishing
Jesus.
is not participating in the change that time brings. Right now, all of our activity that we have is against a force that God put in place. Time and change are not with you, they're against you. And the only time and the only way to get things to change in your favor is if you get a hold of time, you put a harness on time, you put reins on time, you put a bit in time's mouth, and you start using time.
Thank you, Lord.
Because one or two things are going to be true. Either you're going to use time, or time is going to use you.
Jesus.
Either you realize that time knows it's going to run out.
Yes.
Time knows that. So time is doing what it was designed to do.
Jesus.
You've got to grab a hold of time knowing that it is a fleeting commodity. Not only do you not have much time, but time doesn't have much time. There is not.
Jesus.
An unlimited supply of time anywhere. You can't go anywhere on vacation and get time. You can't. You remember the old Ponce de Leon?
Yes.
He was looking for the fountain of youth. There's nothing that you do that's going to make you younger. You can exercise and feel younger,
Yes.
but you're not going to be younger.
Right.
You may not look as old as you are, but you are as old as you are as a function of time. But if you utilize, if you get a hold of, if you grab time and say, you know what, time? You're going to work for me. Because I'm going to make you work for me. I'm going to take my strength, I'm going to take my right arm, I'm going to take everything that I do, and I'm going to grab a hold of time, and I'm going to make time work for me.
Jesus.
Then you get change. Then stuff begins to change. Then the positivity of your desires becomes to come to pass because you now are ahead of time.
Yes. Yes.
Time isn't happening to you, you're happening to time. You're telling time, this is what's going to happen, and I'm going to make this happen because I don't have much time. Time doesn't get away from you. You're not chasing time. What you do is you're grabbing time and you're organizing time and you're putting things in time slots. You're organizing time, and when you organize time, time works for you. Time gives you a product.
Yes.
If you put this much time in, you have a result. It's kind of like, remember the old days when you went to a job? When you start the job, you don't just start. You go and get this card on the wall. Y'all too. Y'all remember these old days. You go get a card that's on the wall that's got your name on it.
Punch it on your time.
And you take that card and you, boom.
Yes.
They will pay you based on how much time you possess on that card. Well, if that works for a card,
Yes.
that works for your life.
Yes.
See, the thing about it is, fundamentally, when you're done working there, you put the thing in and you stop. Your time there, but time doesn't stop. Time keeps going whether you punch the clock or not.
That's right.
So if you treated your life
Jesus.
like a job, in the morning you would start, and in the evening you would stop, and you would have the result at the end of the week of what you did during the hours of the day. If you're looking at the end of your week, and you're going into your envelope, and you don't have hardly anything to show for it, stop looking at other people
Yes.
and answer the following question. What did you do
With your time.
with the time that you were given?
Yes. Jesus.
Because you start when you want to start. And you stop when you want to stop. God. All he does is he looks at the time and says, this is how much time you put in. Now, you were given life. I don't know how much life, because your life has a beginning.
Yes.
And I'll be sad about it. There's a lot of people that will be sad about it. But the truth of the matter is, your life has an end. It's inevitable. Right? It ain't something strange. It happens to everybody. I got so much time, you got so much time, we got different amount of time. To every person and everything, there's a season. Don't get upset when the tree falls down. Don't get upset when I die. The question is, what did I do with my life?
Yes.
And what do I have to show?
Yes.
Well, he was a father. Okay. And he was a businessman. Okay. What legacy, what did I do with my time so that there's value left here as the result of what I did?
That's right.
When I'm tired, everybody's tired. I'm sick, everybody's sick. What are you going to do with your time? You're going to say, well, I deserve some rest. You deserve what you got coming. And what you got coming is based on the function of time, on how you dealt with time.
Yes.
If it's work to you, listen, if your job at our van is worth it enough to you, you'll go in with a sniffle.
That's right.
You're going with you might work sick. Why? Because you value the time.
Right.
Or you value what they give you.
In exchange for time.
You understand?
Yes.
Things will never change unless you get a hold of time. But in order to get a hold of time, you've got to make the choice to do that. That choice has to be conscious. It has to be intentional. Sometimes I'll talk about me.
Amen.
Man, I get tired. I get weary. I fight and extend my energy on a spiritual level more than I care to share. It's kind of, when I think about it, it's unbelievable. My wife asked me, what you shaking your head about? I can't even say what I'm dealing with. I can't even explain. It's just difficult. But every now and then, I can sit down and I'll turn a movie on or something like that and I'll relax and I'll lay back. I'm like, man, this feels good. And I'll laugh and I'll be entertained. But what am I getting in return for my time? Actually, I'm allowing time to be taken from me.
Yes. Amen.
2 hours will go by. 2 hours. That's about the time of a movie. Was it worth my time? My time's worth more.
Amen.
You know what I do sometimes? It says, I will reach in my pocket, pull out $8 and give it to the theater. I will actually pay them
Right.
for my time.
Jesus.
And in exchange, they'll give me a movie. I got previews. I like previews. Stop it. I paid them to take 2 hours of my time. And at the end of the time, 99 times out of 100, it wasn't worth the time. It wasn't worth the money. Well, it wasn't worth the money. It certainly wasn't worth the time. Because that time I could have spent doing so many other things. By my choice. But I didn't choose to. If I chose to do something else, I would have had the credit. I'd have been that much further ahead in my day, in my life, in my value. But how many hours in the day am I utilizing to make me better, to make things better, to make my family better, to make the world better? To make the knowledge of God more clear to the world. Well, that seems like something we would do all the time, right? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Seems like it. Seems like it. Second Peter 3. I'm out of time. I'm out of time, there's no more chance. Right? Can't make a choice. Won't have change. How am I doing so far? Very well. So, I'm gonna be done in a minute. 2 Peter chapter 3. 2 Peter chapter 3. Everybody got it?
Yes.
Is it that time, Anthony?
No, I was just seeing what game field was for.
What's he doing with his time?
That's right.
How's he choosing to spend it? Because time is being spent, whether you spend it or not, it's just going to go by, and you look in your account, the time is gone.
Whether you're older or young.
You can control your account, or you can just watch it be depleted. You just can't get it back. You just can't get it back. You won't ever get it back. 2 Peter 3
Yes.
and 9. I want you to hear this one. You don't have to see it. I want you to hear it. What does it say?
The Lord is not slack concerning his promise.
In other words, God's not slow.
That's right.
It may look like God isn't moving because I don't see him moving. I don't feel him moving. Feel like, well, God, I don't see you. So, God's always moving. I want to go into explanation about why we don't see God move. But let's just suffice to say, God isn't slack. That is to say, God isn't slow. He doesn't ride the short bus. Quite the contrary. Quite the opposite. Not only is God not slow, he's so fast. He moves so fast. Remember Muhammad Ali? He said, I feel like a butterfly, I sting like a bee. He says, I move so fast. He says, you won't even see me swing. He says, okay, go. You want to see it again? God is so fast. He's not slack. He's not slow. When God moves, he moves fast. He moves so fast, it's not even like the twinkling of an eye. He's faster than that. God is not slow concerning his promise. In other words, what he has said has already come to pass.
Yes.
And we're just realizing the benefits of what he's already done and what he's already said. We're catching up.
Right.
We think God, because we haven't seen evidence, and his promise we haven't seen yet, his promise is already present. We're the ones that are behind. But he's not slow concerning his promise, read.
As some men count slackness.
Mm-hmm. Because we judge things in minutes and seconds and things like that. God is not, he's not stuck on time. God doesn't move by miles per hour. Miles per hour it's a term that was invented by man. Kilometers per hour, that's something that we measure in. God can't be measured in man's increments. So God is not slow like we measure things, read.
But is long-suffering to usward.
In other words, what God tolerates is us. What God wonders about is us. Catching up to him. Catching up with what he's already done. We're waiting on God to do something in our lives. God has already done it.
That's right.
We haven't realized it because we haven't seen it. We haven't seen it because we haven't utilized the time. We're not on God's timetable. Because otherwise, we would understand that when he said we are more than conquerors, we would believe that we are more than conquerors. And when we're in a bit of a battle and we're going through, which we are, we wouldn't act like losers. You can't act like something that you're not. If you're more than a conqueror, when the battle begins, you've already won. That's why we don't wait until the battle's over. Not because of what we've been taught, not because of some cultural thing that we do. We don't be excited through a battle. We realize the truth of the matter is because of what God did, the battle's already over. The enemy is starting, But we are finishing. We are finishing because the time that we live in and that we're connected to is God's time. There's an Old Testament scripture. I'll just go there for a second. It says, it's talking to all of us. And what it says is that your life is a vapor.
That's right.
Okay? How long is a vapor present?
Not long at all.
Not long. Have you ever seen a vapor? Not long. You can't even look at a vapor for long because
It dissipates you.
it's gone. The span of your life
It's but a vapor.
is like a vapor. Nah. In God's time, a day is 1,000 years, 1,000 years is a day. Okay. That's what's called quantitative thinking. Okay. You can't even get the quantity when it comes to God, because God doesn't deal in quantity. God deals in quality. As a matter of fact, where God is, there is no time. There's no past, there's no present, there's no future. It just is. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
If you took a string and wrapped it around the world 50 times, right? That's a big old ball of yarn, right? If that's life, then you'd have to keep on wrapping infinitely because you never run out of string. Because life is designed to be eternal, like God. But your life is not eternal. Your life experience, that is to say. Your life here on this earth. If you took that string that's wrapped around the world like 50 times, and there's an infinite amount of string, it just keeps going and going and going and going and going. Not like the Energizer. When the Energizer Bunny stops, this string keeps going.
Right?
You with me?
Yes.
Okay. If you took the tip of that string and you dipped it in some Red ink, that tip would represent your life. That would represent your ability to make decisions on what path you're going to be on. Just that little tip of red on that string would represent how much control you have over the rest of eternity. And if you can get that little tip of red right, then you can spend eternity with God. Well, since you put it that way,
Yeah.
we don't have time to figure stuff out. We don't have time to try and to experiment with stuff. We don't have time to get with the wrong crowd. We don't have time to see if God meant what he said when he said, touch not, taste not, handle not. We don't have that kind of time. All we gotta do is get that little red speck of life right, and you get to spend eternity saying, whew. That's the only kind of change that matters. Are you going to be right because of your choice that will bring you the kind of change so that you will be ahead of time, and time for you won't be an asset that works against you. Time for you will be eternal. You can make a decision right now today that will put you on a path that has no end. Or you can be distracted and you can stray. Or you can allow a situation to get the best of you and you'll forget that there's even a path. Or you can say, look, my little speck, I don't have long to live. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to enjoy myself. You can do that. But you're not looking at the whole picture.
Right.
The whole picture is the eternal one. The eternal one is the one where God lives. If you want to live where God does not, have at it. Forget all about time. Forget all about choice. Nothing means nothing. Do what you will. Please thyself. Or you choose another path.
That's right.
Because there's another path that exists. There's a path that is not affected by time. As a matter of fact, there's a path that if you choose to accept this path, time and chance won't be a game that you play. when you choose God, you move into an area where the time-space continuum ceases to exist. When you choose God, you choose an area that when you get into that zone, that area, that frame, stuff will happen to you for no reason. For no reason. I mean, over here in the world, 1 + 1 = 2 all day long. Over here in the world, the laws in this world, what goes up must come down. But over here, on God's path, doors are open and they're not closed. The last is first and the first is last. There were 2,000 candidates and they picked you. Not because you were the most qualified. Because the favor that you have is with God. Not with the university. The relationship you have isn't with the boss's daughter. The relationship you have is with the King of Kings and Lord of Lords.
Yes, yes,
Give yourself a chance.
yes.
Consider in your day. Choose the Lord. David said, when the Lord is my shepherd, I don't lack anything. Not because I work for stuff and I'm planning for, and I got money for retirement, I got stuff set aside. If the Lord is your shepherd and you're following him, you won't want for nothing. Given the choice, I'd rather. I don't always, but I'd rather. And if I keep practicing this choice, I'll get better at it. I'll get better at choosing God. I'll get better at considering God. I'll get better at not letting my day go by without His consideration, His direction, His leadership. I won't ever be lost. Don't have to be. A lot of people running. A lot of people making choices. A lot of people rolling the dice. You don't have to gamble. This is a sure thing. Everybody stand.